Hello, high-res enthusiasts. My name is Rabies, and I am alongside the phenomenal Pon Pon.
Hello.
How you guys doing? And we have some Hand of the Gods 4.3 patch notes to present to you today. First, let's get right into it. Chinese Knight is going to be disabled due to some freezing and glitching. We need to get that out of there for a little bit.
Yeah, it was causing some crashes. It is a beta game. We're kind of working on making sure everything's polished. Some things can go haywire in game development.
Right.
So we've disabled it for now. We're going to get that back to you as quickly as we possibly can.
Yeah, we're going to cut that out, and we're going to move right on. That's the only crashing patch notes we have. Moving on, ceremonial urns, map-wide, will be buffed from 2 to 3 health. Pon, how do you think that's going to affect the game?
Well, anything that kind of increases the health, especially for things that are targetable early, are going to slow down the pace of the game meta a bit. So especially things like the imps, which we'll talk about in a bit, actually, are things that, like, when they charge and can kill it very quickly with 2 health. Now that they're 3 health, it slows down because you can't just one-shot them right off the bat on turn 2. So making sure that that kind of stuff is a bit slower is kind of a theme of some of the changes we have going forward.
And that's really important. We do want to slow down the game. We felt these rush decks were causing a lot of prowess in the early game and causing a lot of disruption. Maybe it'll change them. Moving right along, we do have the Elder Harpy. Now into some of the actual champion changes, some of the card changes. Elder Harpy is a 3-mana 2-attack, 2 health champion. And she is going to be actually have her movement speed increased from 2 to 3.
Yes.
And her passive, she cannot take return damage. So she's going to be really crazy here, getting in the front line. What do you think, Pon?
Well, I mean, movement speed in like these small board spaces is really important. Having an extra movement speed means you can be really defensive with it. You can retreat very effectively. Things can't chase you as much. You can go really aggressive. If you played it on the back line, it can get to your front line very quickly. And so this just gives this card the additional utility that we think it needs.
Right, and previously people were using her defensively, sticking her in the back lines, and kind of just using her as maybe a card soak. But now she actually could push down these pylons and not have to worry about taking return damage due to her passive and maybe get some damage down on the summoning stones. That's right. She's going to be an interesting card. Look for her more in deck play. Moving right along, we have the Fire Imp. Now, the Fire Imp, we see this card all the time in Hand of the Gods, right? This 2-mana, 2-attack, 1 health with charge. And we see him in all the rush decks. We're thinking he's a little bit empowered right now, so we're going to tone him down a little bit from 3 movement to 2 movement. Where do you think this change is truly going to affect Hand of the Gods?
Well, it's really the early game, right? It's you place your leader forward, you play him down on turn 2, and he just rushes forward and kills something that would normally be out of range.
I see.
So having a 2 movement makes it so that things are a little bit safer with your positioning. The enemy leader can play around the fact that knowing that turn 2, they're safe from anything really at 2 range. So this will just, again, slow down the pace of the early game just a hair.
Yeah, and he was a 2-cost champion, so at turn 2, you see these rush decks dropping him down. And if you have your leader in the right position, he can actually get to either a summoning stone on the same turn he is spawned, or he could take down one of the urns just on turn 1. So we think he was just a little bit too much overpowered. We had to tone him down just a little bit, maybe take him out of deck play. We'll see some players take him out of deck play. Moving right along, we have, this is a big buff here, Kang. Kang, that 5-mana, 4-attack, 4 health champion, right? And his passive, immune to range combat. How are we going to see this 33% nerf? Sorry, this 20% buff, I apologize, a little slippery tongue here. That 20% buff is going to be increased actually from attack 4 to 5. Pon, where is the strength now in this character?
Well, I mean, having 5 attack is really good for anything that you want to put forward to be really aggressive.
Yes.
There's a lot of cards that just don't survive 5 attack damage.
True.
They could survive 4, they can't survive 5. Leaders often don't have enough health to deal with this either. And the summoning stones being at 10 health, they die now in 2 hits. And so actually being that kind of forward, that aggressive with a card that now has 5 attack, that opens up so many more options than there were at 4 attack.
Yeah, I mean, he was always a character that was used on the offense, but just that extra attack is going to give him the extra ability in the offensive part of the game. Like we said, 2 hits on a summoning stone, that's pretty detrimental. 1 hit almost any leader in the game. Okay, and the Bull Demon King is going to be the next up on our patch note tour. We do have a 5-mana, 2-attack, 5 health champion, and he has the ability to attack all adjacent enemies. This guy is actually going to see a buff this time around. I'm so excited to bring this up. A 33% attack increase from 2 to 3. And Pon, like we said, he can attack all adjacent enemies.
Yeah.
Look for some crazy offensive firepower from the new Bull Demon King.
Yeah, he's this character that like you want to put in your front line or be kind of this reaction card to a whole bunch of minion spread.
Right.
So if a whole bunch of minions get spawned, he can clear them out very quickly. But a lot of minions, unless they're the rush minions, like the ones that have 1 health, they have that 3 health value that they can actually use to live that kind of cleave.
Exactly. You know, we see those cards a lot.
Yeah, and so now at 3, he's going to be significantly more effective at actually doing his job of clearing out those small minions to make room for your leader to charge through.
Right, and can you imagine seeing him against one of these Rush North stacks, you know, and they have just 3-4 minions stacked around in a circle, and here comes this Bull Demon King, and he just wipes them all out, cracks the whip one at a time. Beautiful. You're a smart man, Pon. I love you. All right, Geb. Geb is going to be, this is a huge buff. He's a very played card, very played God card. He's a 5 mana, 2 attack, 7 health, and his War Cry is actually quite special. He has a +3 health, and he removes any CC. Now, previously, he was only able to use it on friendlies, but now in this buff, check this, Pon, he's able to use it on himself as well. How is this going to change the card, and where are we going to see him in play?
Well, I think the big thing is you wanted him to be this kind of character that could buff up the minions you already had on the board. But if your board was clear, he was this really weak card to play because you just couldn't do much with it. And so now being able to buff him to 10 health means that he can actually be in the front line. At 2 attack, he can soak a whole bunch and trade a whole bunch with a whole bunch of minions. You're going to have to invest a lot to kill him. So him being
quite a lot.
him being able to come out on the board and actually have that 10 health rather than having to buff something else is just a lot more flexibility with the card.
You're right. Total utility. He can either push in, he could play defensive, he could give himself up to 10 life, or he could just buff another god or another card on the board, giving them +3 health. If they're stuck in a CC, maybe he takes them out of that as well. But this card has already played a lot. We're going to see it. I think we'd see it even more, to be honest.
Yeah, and especially with some of the other card synergies that are available. I mean, he's going to be a strong addition to any deck.
You're right. And now we have, this is the part of the show where it gets me a little giddy in my pants, sorry to say. I got to say here, this new Chinese God card, this is the part where I wanted you all to tune into. We have a new guy. His name is Ao Kong. Running through him real quick, he is epic. A 5 mana, 4 attack, 5 health champion, and he has so many abilities. It is ridiculous, Pon. Listen to this.
There's a long tooltip here.
Yeah, right. Listen to this, Pon. Colossal. Triggered at the end of every turn. This guy is going to see a +1 attack, 0 health buff. As well, in addition, that ability, we are going to see teleport. He can teleport to a tile, right? When he teleports, he is going to create an illusion. The illusion is going to have taunt, and it's going to match the health of him currently. So maybe we see a combo with the Geb, +3 health or something there. So his illusion is going to match his health. In addition, he has taunt. The illusion does. So not only do you have a God card that is now able to stack his attack and really become something powerful, but this guy can move around the map, create illusions, they have taunt, and they do 1 damage adjacently to all characters
so
if it's not dealt with. Right, and if it's not dealt with. This card sounds phenomenal. What do you think about it?
Well, I'm just picturing like the kind of grandiose scenario of you have a whole bunch of taunt minions, high health minions in the front line. And you just have this Ao Kong sitting in the back getting ready to start one-shotting these summoning stones after like a few turns of setup.
Correct.
The longer you leave him up on the board, the more effective he's going to be. That's like the kind of like, that's the fun scenario. Where I think we really see him get used is when he's just kind of on the board. He can be aggressive. He can quickly also teleport back if he gets into danger and then automatically put the enemy in a bad position. And for any card like this that has such a powerful effect that happens over time, you're going to need something like hard removal to remove it. And it's not really easy to remove a leader with enough health, especially if you buff him.
Brilliant point.
So you could also have the situation that comes up where someone burns 2 or 3 cards to remove him really quickly. You only played 1. You now have a whole bunch of value on your opponent. Yeah,
when you look at Hand of the Gods as well as these other, electronic CCGs, right? Card value and how many cards you have to burn to eliminate a card all plays into this number count that we see in a lot of TCGs. That's how you actually win the game. That's what you want to think about. If it takes 2 cards, 3 cards to eliminate or remove 1, I mean, that's just plus advantage for that person with the 1 card. This Ao Kong, when I look over him, I can't say enough. Just reading his tooltip has me stuttering over here. I can't believe it. We can either see him, like we said, in the defensive, in the back line. Every turn, you're doing all your buff plus health to him or plus attack. He gets plus 1 attack every single turn, which is gigantic. I mean, and as well, we see him pushing. If we see him go offensive, he could rush into a bunch of enemies and then use his illusion to get back, put his illusion with taunt in the middle, and then put his enemy at a circumstance where it's either do they attack the illusion with taunt to not take the 1 damage adjacently to everyone, or do they focus that and not put damage on the summoning stones or Ao Kong himself?
Well, I think the key that you're pointing out there is flexibility in these cards, right? Like you can put him in this deck that you can buff Ao Kong. He means it's really good frontliner. You can put him there just be this thing that absorbs spells that could be removed really quickly, or you can be there. He's the protector, right?
Absolutely.
You can bring him with a whole bunch of other minions. See the minions are in danger. Teleport out, and now suddenly there's this taunt minion there that has to be dealt with before they can actually attack your other minions.
Yeah, I mean, this card, like we could say this all day. Look for a lot of deck play with the new Ao Kong. Once again, everyone, that's going to conclude our Hand of the Gods Smite patch notes. My name is Rabies, alongside the amazing Pon Pon. I love you, buddy. I hope to see you soon.
Yep, definitely.
Hey, what's up, folks? Tom Battinger here. On behalf of everybody that took part, thanks for watching The Caster. We really appreciate it. But if you want to dig even deeper and find behind-the-scenes action, some commentary, and all the other fun stuff, check out The Caster's YouTube page, youtube.com/TheCasterShow. We definitely appreciate it, and we'll see you later.